major development. The release of actor Vijay's much anticipated film Jana Nayagan has hit another roadblock, with the censor board now recommending an unprecedented review by the Election Commission. Sources indicate that the Central Board of Film Certification has raised concerns over the film's political content, especially in the light of Vijay's active involvement in politics and with Tamil Nadu polls around the corner. The revising committee of the board recently reviewed the film once again, following objections over its dialogues and political references. In a rare move, the board has suggested that the Election Commission of India examine the film before any final clearance is granted, citing the ongoing election environment. This recommendation effectively shifts the final decision on the film's release to the Election Commission, adding further uncertainty to its timeline. Jana Nayagan, directed by Vinoth, was initially slated to be released on 9th of January, but has remained stuck amid a prolonged tussle over its sensitive content. And with this latest development now, the wait for Vijay's final cinematic outing is set to be extended further. My colleague Thoya Jakshi tracking those details, joining us live. Thoya Jakshi, this is unprecedented. CBFC now recommending Election Commission to review the movie and give it a go-ahead. We've never seen this happening before.
So of course, Shweta, the revising committee of the censor board has conducted another review of the Vijay starrer Jana Nayagan, with members screening the film in Mumbai on Tuesday, where the reassessment follows concerns over its political references, which led the board to call for further scrutiny by the officials from the Election Commission, where now the final decision on the film's release now lies with the Election Commission. When originally the movie was scheduled to hit the theaters on the January 9th, during the Pongal festival, as it was a much anticipated film of TVK Vijay, has before he enters into a full-fledged politics, and now that it produces KBN Productions, then moved the movie Madras to the Madras High Court seeking the relief, but did not receive a favorable ruling. But now, resulting in continued postponement of the issuing of the CBFC certificate for the movie release. The issue was subsequently escalated to the Supreme Court, where it again failed to secure an immediate resolution. Now, the producers later withdraw their legal petitions and agreed to resubmit the film for the review. Now, following to the latest screening that happened in Mumbai, where Jana Nayagan remains in a limbo as authorities, evaluate whether its political content aligns with the regulatory norms before granting clearance for the release. Now, it is all in the hands of the Election Commission, Shweta. We'll have to wait and see when the Election Commission is going to give the permission, because likely the sources are also saying that the movie release might happen after the elections as also. So we'll have to wait and see when the Election Commission is going to give, a green signal for the movie release, Shweta.
All right, Thoya Jakshi, for the benefit of our viewers, what's the problem with the movie? There are questions, of course, raised on how it's a very politically sensitive movie, and Vijay is seeking its release right ahead of elections at a time that he's contesting Tamil Nadu elections himself. So, run us through what the controversy is.
Well, of course, the controversy, the main reason for the CBFC, for issuing the certificate, the delay for issuing the certificate till today, where now the Madras High Court also intervened, the Supreme Court also intervened in this matter. But here the CBFC is, has reviewed the film. Now it has gone to the hands of the Election Commission. The main controversy is there are several political, related scenes that has been in this movie, and not only political but also sentimental, religious sentimental scenes are also there in this movie. That's what it's been said, Shweta. And not only that, there are several defense forces emblems were also used in this movie, and there were almost more than 15 plus cuts that happened in the first review when the CBFC reviewed the movie when it went for the review. So these are the current controversies that's been going on, as now that elections are almost there, but now the Tamil Nadu is going to polls on the 23rd of April, where you see the Vijay himself, the TVK chief himself, is going to contest in the elections. So we'll have to wait and see now what kind of explanation the election commission is going to give us on this, Jana Nayagan. That is the much anticipated film of Vijay, as it is the last film of his film career, as he fully goes on a full-fledged into before entering into politics, Shweta.
Absolutely. His last movie, and fans are awaiting the release of Jana Nayagan. Toya, the movie was initially slated to release in January, on 6th of January. And since then, there's been a tussle in the court. It first unfolded in the Supreme Court, where the makers of Jana Nayagan, in fact, Madras High Court, the makers of Jana Nayagan took the CBFC members to the Madras High Court seeking an intervention to expedite the matter, post which there was a screening committee set up. But makers continue to say that despite screening committee asked to come and review the movie, there's been a constant delay from the part of CBFC. They haven't come on time. Sometimes they did not even show up for screening, as a result of which there's been a delay of as long as, March. We are well into March, end of March, and there's no hope for the movie to come out just as yet. So makers of Jana Nayagan are leveling their very serious allegations against CBFC that their intervention is political in nature.
Well, yes, the movie was officially, scheduled to release on the January 9th, for the Pongal festival, Shweta. And since before, you see, not only Jana Nayagan, during the time of Jana Nayagan release, there was another movie, Parashakti, also, was supposed to be released at the same time. But right, even for Parashakti, also faced the censor board issues. And even that movie also had almost nearly 23 to 27 cuts, and there were also a few words that were muted. Right after that, just a day before of that full film release, the CBFC had given the certificate. But here for Jana Nayagan, first when the review happened, there were several allegations, and there were several controversial scenes, and which was related to religious sentiment, as well as there were several defense symbols which were used, like I previously mentioned. After that also, the KBN production, the film production house, they filed a petition at the Madras High Court. And similarly, even the CPFC had also filed, since they didn't get any kind of resolution. That's when they moved to the top court, that is the Supreme Court. And even there, they didn't get any kind of resolution. That's when now they formed a new committee, to review this film. And even Tuesday, they were supposed to review the film, Shweta, but unfortunately the movie, the committee, didn't show up for the review. But now the latest that we are getting here is it's gone into the election commission hands before the CBFC gives a green signal by issuing a certificate. Before that, the election commission has to give the permission. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of green signal, or what kind of action will the election commission take against the Jana Nayagan, the movie where Vijay would be, Vijay's last movie would be, for his complete enter into the politics, Shweta.